Hello and welcome to Africa Today. I am Mike Okwache. More than a century after Thomas Edison invented the light bulb, a large part of Africa still remains in the dark as erratic power supply continues to create rolling blankets of blackouts. The effect of electricity in low capacity and at a high cost have seen livelihoods affected, with economic growth hampered over time. On February the 1st, Nigeria adopted a new multi-year tariff with an increment of about 40%, sparking a wave of protest by labor and civil society across the country. So we ask, what are your thoughts on the concept of an increase in electricity tariff in Nigeria and parts of Africa? You can join the conversation and share your thought with us on Twitter at TVC Connect. A report to launch the program in Africa Today will continue. Welcome on board.
It's first working day of the week, but these workers aren't headed for their offices. They are bent on registering their displeasure at the new tariff regime, which took effect from the 1st of this month. The protesters filed into the streets, causing traffic jams and chanting solidarity songs. Placards in hand, they head for the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, where they insist electricity tariff shouldn't be hiked until all consumers are provided with prepaid meters.
This exploitation must not allow to stand because it is against the Nigerian people. Any increase in this very hard economic situation should not be allowed to stand.
Civil society organizations are also duly represented at the mass rally. Their representatives want the anti-corruption fight of the present administration extended to probe the processes leading to the privatization of PHCN.
Fight back begins today. No to any increase in any price, in anywhere of the sector of the economy.
We join our leaders in saying that we will call on all Nigerians to resist this. In this point, what Nigeria needs is to protect and defend and advance the interests of the people.
At the National Assembly complex, Senate President Bukola Saraki leads other federal lawmakers to receive the protesting activists.
To assure you that this Senate, House of Representatives, and National Assembly is for the people. Yes. If you recollect, even before now, we had observed that this issue of tariff and some of the policies were not palatable.
Glad to have you on Africa Today. Now, recent weeks in Ghana had saw citizens turn out in protest after electricity charges were increased by 59% in December 2015. While reports suggest that electricity tariffs in South Africa and Zambia are among the lowest in the world, prices in Djibouti and Gabon are said to be among the highest globally. Joining me on Africa Today, I have Sunday Oduntan, a lawyer and spokesperson for the electricity distribution companies in Nigeria. Welcome to Africa Today.
Thank you very much.
It's nice to see you.
Thank you.
And I also have Libros Oshoma, a lawyer and rights activist. You're welcome to Africa Today.
My pleasure, always.
Really
Mike.
nice to see you.
Same here.
Right, let me start with you, Sunday. Right now, what is currently going on is dissatisfaction from Nigerians, no doubt. Everyone that's voicing a level of dissatisfaction in the minds of people where government is coming with the issue of incrementing the tariff where they don't have light. What is the justification for what government is about to do or what government is doing in that regard?
Thank you very much. I will tell you the justification for what government has done, what the regulator has done, because as it is, a new baby was born on the 1st of February. So if you're talking about abortion, you're talking about abortion when there's pregnancy. When you're talking about abortion after a baby has been born, somebody's about to commit murder. So what the regulator has done, not the government really, it's the regulator. Now we need to put it in perspective. Right. And to understand the issue of the Nigerian electricity industry, we need to look back and see where we were. When I was young in Abeokuta, in Ogun State, we had ECN, and there was always light in those days. But the population was relatively, Abeokuta as a whole, the Ogun State capital, had only one local government. Today, the population has extended so much that there are many more people everywhere. But not just that. This is an industry that has been neglected by the Nigerian government, the successive government, military, civilians, over 50 years. And it got to a point that NEPA and PACN was synonymous with fraud and corruption. So it got to a point that the government, in their own wisdom, decided to sell off the entities to private investors. They did that in 2013, precisely on the 1st of November 2013. The first thing they did prior to that, right from the time of Papa Obasanjo as president, then President Yar'Adua, then President Jonathan, they unbundled NEPA PACN, broke it into three entities. The value chain became free. We have the generation company, the GENCOs. We have the transmission company of Nigeria. They still hold on to that. It's still in government hand, although privately managed now by a company called Manitoba Hydro from Canada. Then we have the distribution company. There are 6 generation companies. There are 11 distribution companies. Then we have the transmission company. Now, the problem is that at the point of privatization, when they sold it off, they sold it for money. But the money they got, realized from the sale, a chunk of that money, if not all, was actually used to pacify labor and the workforce within NEPA and PACN. Some of them go as much as 30 million naira at that point. What they did was that they actually paid them all off, kind of paying them a kind of, just like retiring people.
All right, but is there
now,
something,
after that,
is there something in there that is making the people not to have light?
What is making people not to have light today is the fact that we're not generating enough. And that's where I'm going. Nigeria has 160 million people. That's the population.
So in that case, there's
no
the
normal rule of thumb.
It means there's no justification for the increment.
There is justification. That's where I'm going. The normal rule of thumb.
All right. Okay. I'm going to make you talk, but I like liberals to react to this. The Labour has come out to say no, there can't be an increment now until people have meters, and certainly you can measure whatever everybody is using. So there can be value for money. I'm going to ask you to respond to this, but we will go on a break and then we'll come back. We're still on Africa Today, and we're looking at some of the deficiencies in electricity generation and transmission that is making people still have blackouts where they expect to have a lot of light. Stay with us on Africa Today. Welcome back to Africa Today. Statistics show that the average effective electricity tariff in Africa is lower than the average of production costs, with consumption effectively subsidized in most African countries. Now, as of 2011, self-generation by citizens was estimated to produce almost 8,000 megawatts of electricity, more than Nigeria's current grid supply of about 5,000 megawatts. Now, I still have with me Sunday Oduntan with us in the studio, and Libros Oshoma. Now, before we went on break, you were going to respond to the labor union in Nigeria saying there is no justification for tariff increase right now, except all whatever anybody's using or consuming is metered to measure everything.
Mike, basically, Nigeria is labor organization and civil society in Nigeria are very magnanimous. They are not even asking for too much. Right. There is nothing anybody will say about power generation in Nigeria that is alien. We all know. But what people are basically saying, even when this the attempt was or the unbundling was initiated or was started during Obasanjo's administration, if you remember, they started issuing prepaid meters, and a lot of houses got prepaid meters and were even asked to pay for those prepaid meters, in spite of the fact that they had paid for the manual meters, that the analog meters that they had. But that aside, now after some time, they stopped issuance of those meters because they knew that they were not making money, because people started paying for what they consumed. And so, where they make large chunk of their money was estimated bills. A situation where you give a man, you have not given light for 2 months, you give him a bill of 150,000 naira. And then he goes to complain, you say, go and pay something first. It's free money. And now, what people are basically saying, is it out of place for somebody to ask you, please, I need to ascertain what I consume. Even when you're increasing, now that you're increasing tariffs, let me ascertain what I consume first before you slam an increase on me, telling me that a baby has been born. because, and I must pay. For me, it is like telling Nigerian people that you are fools, and so once a government take a decision, it's dictatorial and it must stand. For me, that is this is the only country where you practice democracy and there are dictatorial tendencies, because you don't ask a tenant to pay for a house you have not built. Paying more today does not mean that you're going to automatically have more megawatts. What people are basically asking, as an investor, you should have money to invest in business. It is not for me to grow your investment, and at the end of the day, you turn around to bill me. It's not done anywhere in the world. That's simple. It's as simple as that. And I have listened to the Minister of Power, and to me, that is the most unreasonable statement from any minister in the world, telling us that for them to generate, you must pay more. It's nobody's business. You decided to buy. Whether it's carcass that you bought, you did your due diligence and you bought. And the issue of we compensated workers. If you are going to retire people that have worked with you for 30-something years, were you not going to compensate them before? Whether you use the money to compensate them is nobody's business. But I shouldn't be suffering for the ineptitude of one man.
Okay, Sunday, you have heard him. But now, the issue now is there seems to be some level of pride in government to have generated 5,000 megawatts, since it's the highest amount megawatt generated in Nigeria. Is it a big deal? Let me ask you that way, because that hasn't translated to light with
Thank you very much. It's a big deal. It's a big deal not because 5,000 is so much. No. I lived in England for 25 years, and there's nothing like power cut or any sort of thing. To have electricity in any country, anywhere in the world, you must be able to generate enough, transmit that quantum of electricity generated, and distribute same. To do all of that in those 3 stages, it requires a lot of money. We should not mix electricity with politics. They don't go together. Right. And there's no aluta in this thing. It's about naira and kobo. Today, dollar good for about 300 naira to 1 naira. Sorry, to $1. 300 naira to $1. I know for a fact that pound sterling is now 430 naira to £1. You have to look at what are the things. Anything called electricity, majority of the components that we use in either generating, transmitting, or distributing electricity are imported. So when you're talking about tariff, you have to look at the issue of costs. What we're talking about here is cost of production. We are talking about appropriate pricing of a product. Every product comes at a price. My brother drinks Coca-Cola or Fanta. That Coca-Cola bottle that you see comes at a cost.
It's not estimated. Now,
it's not estimated. Let me go into the issue of estimated billing.
It's not estimated.
But I know we don't have much time, but that time, let me explain this. Number one, we came on board on the 1st of November 2013. That's a fact. And we're not manufacturing fact from heaven. When we came on board, what the law says, from time immemorial, from the time of ECN, when you build your house, call on NEPA or PHCN to come and connect you. They should come to your house day one with a meter, which means you must have a meter. You have a right to have a meter. And I understand those who are...
So whose fault now?
Is the fault, what I'm saying is, we inherited 5 million metering gap.
Yes, I'm going to come to this. I'm going to come to this. I'll let you respond. All right, Sunday, we'll come back to this. Yes. Let's go on a break and then we come back on the program. Please stay with us on Africa Today. Thanks for staying with us on Africa Today. We have with us in the studio Sunday Oduntan and Libros Oshoma. We are talking about electricity issues in Nigeria. Now, Libros, you were going to respond to what he was saying.
Nobody is missing the power issue with politics. Right. It is the attempt by government to mix the issues up with politics that people are responding to. Okay. If the minister didn't make a statement, nobody will respond. And that's on one side. And on the other side, thank God my friend here is a lawyer. When you buy an asset, you buy both the asset and liability. Before they bought, they did due diligence. They knew what they were coming to do. And by his answers, he had told us now that they cannot meter Nigeria in 2 years. What it means is that Nigerians are still going to suffer these estimated bills for the next 2 years or more, while PACN is smiling home with so much money. That's basically what it means. What Nigerians are asking for, nobody's telling you, don't import, or that we don't know the cost of dollar as it stands. That is not also the fault of the ordinary man on the street. What the ordinary man is basically asking is, when you bought, you said you were an investor and that you were coming to invest, so you make money. It's not as if this business is a 2-year, 3 years business. It's a business that will run for a long time. And so why don't you put the cart before the horse? Why don't you put the basic foundation in place so that when you smile home, I smile home? We don't want a situation where the investors will be smiling home where the people are languishing in darkness. You're telling me I should pay you for darkness. That's basically what this all boils down to. I don't have a meter. You said PHCN ought to give me meter. We all know the problems associated with getting a meter from PHCN in Nigeria. It was like getting a phone line from NITEL in those days. And now that these investors have come, we all clapped. Only for the same investors to refuse to give us meters, and they said that they cannot meter Nigeria in 2 years. And they turn around to tell us we don't have enough money to invest, so you need to suffer. Nobody's telling you, even if you want to charge millions, but so that when I don't have lights, I will know that I won't pay anything. If I'm going to power my house with generator, that's extra cost for me. And so I'm concentrating on that one. The day you decide to turn off light from PHCN or the Ikeja distribution, as the case may be, I know, yes, Ikeja distribution is charging me now. Not when I'm spending money powering my house with generator. Ikeja distribution at the same time is charging me when I don't have light. These are the problem. And so I need them to get it right. Nobody's discussing politics here. Okay. Nobody's talking about dollar. Nobody's talking about pounds.
All right,
what
Sunday.
people are basically saying the simple issues.
Yes.
Give me a meter to measure what I consume.
Yes.
Then you can charge me. Simple.
All right, Sunday, can you make us understand why is it difficult to have meters for every house?
Number one, I understand my brother's frustration with the system. Because he's still going on talking about PHCN. There's no more PHCN. That's number one. PHCN, it's not a question of whether. The difference is very important. It is important I make that very clear. Perhaps we need to get that clear. Okay, right. That is important because it's a question of the mindset. If you are still having that PHCN mindset, I'm sorry you're getting it wrong. Mister, it is in our interest. It is in our interest to meter all our customers. And for kind, you see, one thing is this. Every customer will be given a meter. I was talking about the military
10 years from now.
Hold on. I was talking about, you cannot blame us for the neglect of your government in the last 50 years.
Then
your
do the right thing before you ask us to pay you more money.
Years, and now we are
going to collect the money from us.
We have already embarked on an aggressive metering.
Then do it first.
Even here, we are doing it already. That's what I'm telling you.
Do it first, not just in Lagos.
No, it's a product.
You told me that you can't meter Nigeria in 2 years.
There's no way you can.
And then you're telling me aggressive. How do you reconcile the statement?
Can you approach any financial institution when your product is, when you're underselling your product?
That's your business. That is your business.
It is
our due diligence on the business
to price the product appropriately.
Appropriately.
And that's what we have done.
It's my business also. It's my business also to pay appropriately for what I consume.
You have a choice.
No, because there is no choice here.
No, there is a choice.
There is no choice here.
The choice is for you.
Let him tell you the choice.
Let your generator
him tell you the
and
choice.
get off the national grid. That's a good choice. What I'm saying is that
what you're basically telling us is that whether you like it or not, you must pay.
We also can be able to approach financial institutions. We have invested billions on this business.
Sunday, we were expecting.
And this is a business where we have so much debt. Even government is owing us more than 58 billion naira.
All right, Sunday. So Sunday, let me ask you.
How do we make things better?
All right, Sunday.
We should make things better.
All right, Sunday, let me ask you.
Hang
on, gentlemen.
You want to make better for yourself.
I'll give you an evidence.
And me, not for yourself alone.
I need to give you an evidence. Out of this studio, please turn right. At the back here in this complex, you will see prepaid meter on the wall, on the pole, here in Magodo. Go on Obafe Awolowo Way in Ikeja. You see the same thing on the wall of those after the airport hotel. We are doing it aggressively, but what I'm saying is that
before we can only increase my tariff every month.
Let me ask Sunday a question.
You be patient. No, you be patient. No, Mike, wait, quickly. What we are telling you, you are telling me I should be patient. You are not patient. I am telling you, if you wait, let's hear him. If you accumulate the total cost of consumption for generators. You said, you talked about 8,000 megawatts just now. If you accumulate how much Nigerians spend on alternative power supply, generator, inverter, and all what's not, you will know the amount we are talking about here. And then if you aggregate how much Nigerians are paying as estimated bill, as I talk to you now, I know some people that pay as high as 30-something thousand naira monthly for estimated bill, yet they don't consume power of 1,000 naira. And so at the end of the day, what we are saying is, you say you are aggressively distributing meters.
Yes.
Fine. For you to benefit, so that I will benefit, not just you alone, give me meter first, and then you charge me for what I consume. You made an example with Coca-Cola.
Okay.
Coca-Cola cannot estimate a price for me. When he said I buy a 50 CL or I buy 25 CL, so I know what I am paying for. But in your own case, I don't even know what I'm paying for. And yet you are telling me I should pay more because you can't access loan from the bank? What kind of business is that?
What I'm saying is that we should have an appropriate price for every product.
Sunday, let me ask you this.
Appropriate pricing,
gentlemen.
and appropriate
metering.
This simple, you said it already.
Gentlemen.
Appropriate price. Appropriate price means that I pay for what I consume.
All right, gentlemen, we don't have all the time now. Let me ask you finally now.
Yes.
The companies, before investing,
yes,
did they understand the assets and liabilities of what they were going into?
Yes, they did.
And up to now, they're still trying to cope with the understanding.
It's not about coping with understanding. There was a clear-cut roadmap.
All right.
We were given a contract.
How long?
Whereby we were expected by the federal government, represented by the BPE, to meet our customers to roll out 100,000 meters every year for the next 5 years. That's 500,000 meters per disco. How long would that be before it meets the 5 million?
All right, gentlemen.
People are still building.
Yes, gentlemen.
So you need to be patient.
Yeah, gentlemen.
My last take on this.
All right, just a few seconds.
It's simple.
And pay your bill. People only pay 40% of their bill.
It's simple.
My brother, pay your bill.
Time is going now.
It's very simple.
Pay your bill.
He said they were given a target. Since you know that you want to increase tariff, you want to mop up your money, you exceed your targets. Simple. No. Appropriate pricing. So that what I pay for what I consume. Now, they are talking about appropriate pricing, but they are standing it on its head.
Okay.
By collecting more,
or
not even giving
all right,
it is even more than that.
Sunday,
what happened to the 86 billion naira fixed charges that you people collected from us?
Libros, thank you very much for coming. Now, I promise we have to have a rerun of this program so we can really touch other aspects of the program. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming. Thank you. Now, currently, the total power capacity installed in Africa is at 147 gigawatts, equivalent to total capacity installed in Belgium and what China installs once every 2 years. Now, to effectively power up Africa would involve investing in infrastructure, promoting interregional collaborations, and adopting pricing schemes that would delight citizens and still ensure a viable power sector. That's our package for today, but don't forget to join the conversation on Twitter at TVC Connect and also follow me for updates around the continent at M.Okwocha TVC. Until the next one, I am Mike Okwocha, and don't forget, this is Africa. Bye for now.